We're on site in Kigali for the inaugural AviaDev, and I'm delighted to be joined by Raphael Kuuchi, Vice President of IATA for Africa. So Raphael, what we're trying to do here obviously is bring the hotel investment community and the aviation community together, which has never been done before. So do you think we've been successful, and do you think there's a future for this collaboration?
Indeed, I think it's a very successful collaboration and first initiative. In my view, I think this is one of the best ways of actually changing the mindset of African stakeholders, particularly governments, in unleashing the potential of aviation on the continent. Because aviation has more to do than just moving people. It impacts all economic sectors of countries. But African governments don't see aviation that way. They instead think it is just another means of transport tailored for the rich. And by such collaborative meetings, we would be able to get both the hotel industry and the aviation sector appealing to government to support this initiative. So I think it's a brilliant one.
Fantastic, fantastic. So in terms of facilitating that, obviously we need more liberalization. We've talked about it since 1988 and the famous Yamoussoukro decision. So I believe that AFCAC are in the process, the African Civil Aviation Commission are in the process of opening the skies. So can you give us a bit of an update? And that will be in 2017, I believe, is that right?
Yeah, the plan is to have a single African sky by next year, 2017. And in October this year, AFCAC is calling for a meeting at the African Union Commission head office. Now, at this meeting, the discussions will center on how African states will open up. They will share with members the modalities of opening up and what it will take if an airline wants to take advantage of the open skies to fly new routes. And so we believe that by the end of the meeting in October, the framework should have been approved and endorsed in readiness for next June's implementation.
So June is the date, June 2017, you heard it here. And in terms of, to come back to our generous host, Rwanda, obviously they are an incredible example of what can be achieved. We saw during the conference the presentation of the new airport that will be built at Bugesera. Rwanda have just received an A330 and get another one next month, brand spanking new. So how do you feel other countries from Africa can learn? What can they learn from the Rwandan example?
I think what Rwanda set off to do was actually to create an airline that can serve not just its immediate neighbors, but serve the African market. And they started in a very smart way. First, by making sure that they got their regulatory framework in place properly. They secondly started small. And that is a very big lesson that many African investors that want to go into the aviation business need to understand. That you don't necessarily need to start a big airline. You can start small and grow it incrementally. That is actually what Rwanda has done over the years, and today they've got a significantly big fleet with a network spanning over 17 countries across Africa and to the Middle East, and they still have a potential to grow. They've gathered the critical mass. They are introducing bigger capacity long-haul aircraft, and this will further strengthen their network ability. And again, the Rwanda example also typifies the collaboration between government, the civil aviation, and the national airline. Government has created the enabling environment by taking away the need for passengers, particularly African passengers, to get visas before they get into the country. You can get visas on arrival, so it facilitates a lot of business. It enables transit traffic to get through Rwanda, to go to other places and come back through Rwanda to go back to their destinations. Even on those who are terminating their journeys here, the government has made it possible to acquire visas on arrival at a very affordable rate, not like other African countries where it's actually a rip-off. And we see a very healthy collaboration between the civil aviation and Rwanda. In every activity, you see the two working hand in hand. And this also supports the growth and development of the industry in the country.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I read that 2016 is going to be a record-breaking year for the airline industry, posting, I think IATA has said, $40 billion profits across the industry, which is amazing. But unfortunately, that's not really going to be helped in Africa. I think we only have Ethiopian and maybe Askai that are posting a profit. So how is that going to change? When's that going to change? Because surely, operating conditions, we have peace, we have low oil prices, operating conditions should be good. And is it a lot of the things you've already talked about are the reasons why we're not quite there?
The number of concerns for African aviation, largely based on the operating cost. Many of the African aviation operators are burdened with too much cost, arising from government imposition of taxes on fuel, high charges on the passenger side and on the ground handling side as well. Now, this has made it very difficult, coupled with the fact that commodity prices are dropping in recent times, has made it difficult for African airlines to really be able to make profits. While the global airline industry is going to make approximately 40 billion profit next year, African airlines collectively are expected to post a loss of $500 million, which is very unfortunate. And you would have expected that at a time where oil prices are going down, this would have been an opportunity for African airlines to also join the global industry in making some profits. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen, because oil price in Africa is still on average 21% higher in Africa than the global prices, and this is making it very difficult for airlines to sustain their operations. Because of dropping commodity prices, we are also seeing a slowdown in traffic, particularly traffic in premium class is slowing down as many businesses are scaling back on their international travel. And so this is also going to affect the industry on the continent. But going forward into the future, there is some hope at the end of the day, because African traffic is growing and growing very fast. On average, year on year, over the next 20 years, traffic is going to grow by approximately 4.5% every year. And this is significant for the continent, where majority of the people are yet to travel. If the cost structures were right, then we would have seen a situation where traffic would have been stimulated, many more people could travel faster, and then we'll make more money around the continent.
Absolutely. And I think it was IATA that have said that 7 of the top 10 fastest growing countries in terms of aviation growth are going to be African countries between now and 2030, which shows the opportunity. If we're starting from a low base, it's easy to say as a percentage level that that's great, but ultimately it is great. We are at the beginning, so we think there's a really bright future. So I really thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
We'll
see you next year.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us.
I wish you all the best and success in future events.
Thank you.
Thank you.